Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Hey, man, it's fun to talk to Mike Giles and
always
listen to that turkey, what he can do with his mouth. You know, I mean, I can imagine going through the line at Walmart and all of a sudden the checker says, yes, sir.
And I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's fooled a lot of people, you know. A telemarketer, that's what I would do. They called, I would go into a cluck or something along that. Bill Cooksey's with us on this all-turkey show, and Gene Smith is over there trying to keep, and he's got a story to tell, but I've already rejected the first one, so he's working on the next one right now. But we got a guy on the line right now that can tell a few stories. We just don't have time.
And has told a few stories.
And has told a few stories.
Mostly true.
Probably some of them about me, so that's the way it goes, you know. But this works both ways. It's the only wedding I've ever attended in my life that I wasn't invited, but I was there anyway.
But you were there.
I was there anyway.
You crashed my wedding.
I did. A lot of people crashed your wedding, buddy. That's one of the highlights of all of my career, is to be there for that event with you and Jill.
You've got a very, very low-level life there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, let me think more about that again. Let's see. But Jim, of course, long time with the Arkansas Game and Fish, and I was talking to Bill off the air. I mean, he was reading the Turkey Digest.
I'm reading Turkey Hunter's Digest right now. I read it every year.
It's right there in my, and it was in, what, 2003 or something? Jim, when did you write that book?
I think it's copyright 2003, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, all right, that's what mine says, and I wanted to make sure I didn't get one that was hijacked from somebody, you know. But I love it to read it because it's. I don't know how long it took you to write that thing.
My whole career.
It did, didn't it? Really? I mean, you know,
Pretty much.
You're thinking about 16 years ago, and people are still reading.
It was written over a several-year period. You know, I just didn't sit down and knock it out in one day.
Yeah, well, you don't knock out too many things in one day. I know that. I didn't for sure, but to be still available today, and to know it's still out there. I mean, you've written so many articles and things along the line. Does it still kind of blow your mind that 16 years later, this book is still a topic of conversation?
Well, yeah, it kind of does. I don't know. You don't expect something to live that long, you know.
Well,
none of my marriages ever did.
There he goes again.
Jim, I'm going to tell you. I mean, and this is from the heart. I've read a whole lot of turkey books, and the reason I read yours every year, I believe it is the best book on hunting the turkey that's ever been written. And I learn something every year, and it also gets my head right.
Yes.
Before I get into the woods, you know, it gets me back into there. Ain't no perfect way. You're not going to win them all. Get over it. Keep, you know, all those things we have to keep ourselves motivated.
I mean, it's still
with.
Topical for me, and you know, I didn't start turkey hunting until I was 55. And luckily, because I would have ruined my life way before that, you know. And now at my senior adult age, and I always remember. Now I looked this up to make sure I had it right. Archibald Rutledge wrote many years ago that some men are mere hunters, others are turkey hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that kind of sums up the book.
If Cassidy was on here, he'd tell you what page of what book that came from.
Oh, you know, clearly.
We wouldn't have time for that. I mean, we only got 10 or 12 minutes with Jim. It's hey, we talked to people, and we've asked the guys before you to talk about that first bird. And, of course, Mike Giles thought he meant the first bird this year. No. We're asking, do you recall the first turkey you ever killed?
I can tell you, I can replay every second of that hunt.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was spring of 1981, after the worst drought in history of western Arkansas. And we heard exactly one bird that morning. I'd tried for 4 years to kill a bird by myself, and given it up. I said, I'm through with it. It's messing up my spring fishing.
Yeah.
And so I just washed my hands of turkey hunting because I didn't know what I was doing. I was making mistakes I didn't even know were mistakes. And a friend of mine got wind of it, and he was what I call a 20-bird expert. He had killed a few birds and thought he knew it all. And he didn't, but he knew a heck of a lot more about it than I did.
Yeah.
And he called me up a bird and killed it. I killed it. And I remember just as well, I'm not going to tell you exactly what he said, but we were standing across this little scrawny 2-year-old turkey with a pencil beard. And the thing was big as an ostrich as far as I was concerned. And he looked at me and he says, "All right, fella." He reached across and grabbed my hand over that dead turkey. He said, "All right, fella, you're on your own." And
you've been that way ever since.
Pretty much, it's been that way ever since. Because I've had some good shooters along the way. I've hunted with some of the best: Brad Harris, Ray High, the Mad Boys, or the Mark Drury and them. They're as good as it gets, and you learn from them. But the main way you learn is to get out there and make mistakes in front of turkeys.
Right.
And pay attention.
Well, I think a lot of us have that problem. Attention span is not what it used to be many years ago. But
I think that's where a book helps you over anything else.
It does.
You get out there in the woods and you screw up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you read correlates.
Yes.
Much better than just learning on your own. Because it might not make that, your mind doesn't necessarily make that leap of logic.
Yeah.
But a book will help you get there.
And you're talking about a book. You cannot put this in your pocket, no. And if you put it in paperback, it would be so big that you'd have to step on it to get up, because there's so much. I don't know how many pages are in the.
300 and some odd, I forget.
300 and some odd. That's the ones that I like.
43 chapters. I don't know exactly. I've got some books, but they're out there in the truck or in the back of the truck right
but they're
now.
Still, they're still selling. I mean, if you Google. That book, I know it's out there, probably still, and I don't know how many books. The shelf life of a lot of books are not very long. I'm talking about even bestsellers.
Yeah.
But this book has so much information. I just can't imagine putting together something like this. Somebody said, "Why don't you write a book about your life?" I said it would be very short. But I may be old and everything. Again, we're talking to Jim Spencer, Calico Rock, and he's out in Texas right now doing some turkey hunting. And I got to ask you also, for those that are listening right now, and Bill, we've talked about this also, for a beginner, give an advice for someone who has watched videos, has seen it on TV, and explain to them how difficult it is to kill an eastern bird.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Cooksey?
I'm talking to you. I cook Cooksey all the time,
Well, the trouble with eastern birds is they get hunted.
Yes, they do.
People talk about dumb Rios and dumb Merriams. They're not dumb. They're just uneducated.
Yes.
You can turn those turkeys into turkeys in a hurry.
Yeah.
By subjecting them to hunting pressure. But easterns, they get it all the time, and they're hunted by some of the best. So it's I don't know. They're all turkeys are hard in their own way, but these easterns, they can hide from you. They've got woods to hide in. The Rios and Merriams don't so much.
Yes. And so a turkey, but I know someone had to help you. Someone had to help me. Someone had to help Bill. It's not one of these things where you can just be an instant turkey hunter. I think this is one of those hunting pursuits. We got thousands of deer. I mean, they're bumping into each other and everything like that. I can remember not having any turkeys. I can remember going to Shelby Forest here in West Tennessee and watching them trap turkeys and sending them over to Middle Tennessee and Eastern Tennessee, and now they got more turkeys.
They have to send them back because we're all out.
We're all out now. The floods are getting us, And so I got to ask you, because I've had this question and I've got you on here. What's the situation in Arkansas? And you're a man of opinion, because I used to hunt over there in the Ozarks and things along that line. The turkey population in Arkansas. Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's gallinaceous birds, ground nesting birds, they fluctuate. They have normal cycles.
Yeah. And
we're probably in a normal cycle, pardon me, a downward trend in the population. In pretty much all across Arkansas, but especially in the Ozarks and Ouachitas.
Where you live,
And that's a normal cycle, but it's being exacerbated by The fur market is in the toilet right now. Nobody is trapping or coon hunting.
And you know about that.
A lot of predators.
Yeah.
And everything wants to eat a turkey or a turkey egg.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we've got a lot of that going on. There are some questionable forestry practices that I don't have time to get into in the national forest right now, but I think that's having an effect. It's a little bit of they're doing too much opening of the forest canopy to help the endangered Indiana bat in our part of the world, for example, and they're subjecting, I think, supposed to be something like 40% of our 170,000-acre national forest to this practice. And it may be a good silvicultural practice, but 40% of your forest being subjected to anything at the same time is not good silviculture. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
So do we have hope? Do we have hope for those of us?
Oh, yeah. We're not going to run out of turkeys. Jill and I watched one the day we left Arkansas. We saw one strut and stopped on the side of the road and watched him for a while.
So
so we've got some birds, but you don't run out on a ridge stop and hear 10 turkeys like you did 10, 12 years ago.
That's what I recalled and everything. Jim, I appreciate you, buddy, being on with us and taking time. Say hello to Jill. We made it through without having to use the button at all. We appreciate you doing that. Everything worked fine.
We killed 2 turkeys last week in Mississippi. Hers is bigger, and I have not lived it down yet.
Thank you, buddy. Y'all be safe. We'll talk I know I'll see you at Seopa and Oxford later on this year, okay?
We'll see you there.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Jim Spencer, let's take a break, come right back, and keep it going. Keith Hickman of Buchanan, Tennessee is going to talk to us. We're going to talk to Steve Cobb, the hunter specialist, all in this all-turkey show on Outdoors with Larry Ray.